Even amid an oversaturated market of action-packed content, Trigger, Netflix's latest Korean series, has found a way to carve out its own space and spark global conversation. Just 3 days after its release, the show recorded a stunning 2.9 million views, securing number 4 on Netflix 2dum's global top 10 non-English TV chart, as of July 30th, topping the Korea Top 10 series list, and entering the top 10 rankings in 20 countries. These aren't just numbers, they signal that something deeper has been triggered in viewers worldwide, a connection to a world where bullets don't merely fly, but also symbolize a fractured society on the brink. Shooting for the soul, action with emotional depth. At first glance, Trigger may appear like a conventional action series, complete with blazing gunfights, high-speed car chases, and adrenaline-pumping sequences. But just a few episodes in, viewers quickly realize that this is far more than a mindless thrill ride. Led by Kim Nam Gil and Kim Young Kwang, the show balances action with emotional complexity, where each shot fired feels like an echo of pain still unresolved. Kim Nam Gil's character, a composed yet morally conflicted police officer, raises more than ethical questions. He compels viewers to reflect on when a good person is forced to pull the trigger. Meanwhile, Kim Young Kwang offers a raw portrayal of a man whose rage is justified, but whose pain makes him deeply human. Their dynamic isn't simply about good versus evil, it's about the layers of human suffering that shape every decision. A society on the edge. What propels Trigger beyond standard entertainment is its fearless social commentary. As South China Morning Post aptly observed, the show posits this hypothetical scenario, but also suggests that the way to fix this social ill is by having an easy-on-the-eyes police officer like Do parachuting into as calmed and angry people on the verge of going postal how they feel. The irony in this statement underlines the absurdity of a society so fractured that empathy feels like a luxury, and dialogue feels foreign. Here, guns are not just weapons, they're metaphors for power, helplessness, and the silent scream of the ignored. That now viral scene of Moon Baek dual-wielding guns isn't just cinematic spectacle, it's a visual metaphor for a generation that no longer knows how to speak without force. A wave of praise, viewers react globally. One key factor in Trigger's meteoric rise is its reception. Online, viewers have flooded social media with spontaneous praise. "It's too good, I couldn't sleep. Binged 10 episodes in one night. This isn't just gun versus gun. That line at the end of episode 3? Insane. Kim Nam Gil's expressions? Unreal. The car chase? Total thrill ride." These reactions reveal that modern audiences aren't just craving spectacle, they're seeking connection, catharsis, and even confrontation. Trigger gives them all three. A story that pauses amidst explosions to ask, "Are you okay?" turns out to be exactly what many needed to hear. A bold narrative shift, when action mirrors societal collapse. While Trigger is not the first show to use gun violence as narrative, it's among the rare few that turns guns into warning shots. South Korea, known for strict gun laws, chooses to tell a speculative tale of a society armed to the teeth not to imitate the West, but to reflect its own escalating internal pressures, high suicide rates, academic stress, job insecurity, and deepening isolation. In Trigger, action is no longer just drama, it's diagnosis. Each act of violence feels less like excitement and more like a symptom. The discomfort viewers feel isn't from gore, but from recognition. This is what happens when people run out of words. Final shot, a trigger beyond the screen. Trigger's triumph lies not in its explosions, nor even in its star-studded cast, it lies in what it has activated inside us. An unspoken brief. A long-suppressed question. A whisper between bullets, have we gone too far? In a time when action thrillers often trade substance for spectacle, Trigger chooses a different path, one where the loudest moments are not explosions, but silences between shots. Perhaps that's the kind of action modern society truly needs to witness. In a world oversaturated with fast-paced dramas and high-stakes action series, Netflix's latest Korean title Trigger has emerged not just as another adrenaline-fueled ride, but as a cultural phenomenon. Within just 3 days of its release, Trigger skyrocketed to 2.9 million views, securing the number 4 spot on Netflix 2dum's global top 10, non-English, chart and claiming the #1 spot in Korea. The series is currently trending in the top 10 across 20 countries, a rare feat for any international drama, let alone one that dares to challenge the conventions of the action genre. But what exactly is Trigger doing differently? And why are global audiences, from Seoul to Sao Paulo, so enthralled? A show that shoots through the noise. Starring veteran actor Kim Nam Gil and rising force Kim Young Kwang, Trigger blends the aesthetics of classic action with a surprising emotional undertone. Sure, there are gunfights, car chases, and edge-of-your-seat suspense, but beneath that surface lies a haunting exploration of social unrest, emotional detachment, and moral ambiguity. Kim Nam Gil delivers a performance laced with restraint and rage, portraying a cop who must navigate a minefield of ethical dilemmas. Kim Young Kwang, in contrast, channels a man caught between rebellion and despair. Together, their characters reflect not just two sides of a conflict, but two sides of a collapsing social order. These are not simply men with guns, they are men with wounds, secrets, and unresolved grief. Fans are not just watching, they're reacting. Audiences aren't merely binge-watching Trigger, they're responding viscerally. Social media has exploded with emotional reactions. "I couldn't sleep. Finished all 10 episodes in one sitting. Kim Nam Gil's eyes speak louder than words. That scene at the end of episode 3? Pure genius. The car chase? Better than most Hollywood films." Unlike typical action fans who come for explosions and leave with closure, Trigger viewers are leaving with questions. The series taps into a global collective anxiety, about authority, isolation, and how close we are to societal breakdown. The gunfights, in many ways, are metaphors for deeper tensions simmering under the surface of modern life. Action with a conscience. One of Trigger's most daring achievements is how it redefines the role of action in storytelling. Rather than using violence as spectacle, the show uses it as diagnosis, a way to probe emotional and societal decay. When Moonbeck appears, dual-wielding guns in a scene that has since gone viral, it's not just cinematic flair. It's a commentary on how individuals in crisis often feel the need to be heard, even through destructive means. Even the South China Morning Post weighed in, noting that the show posits this hypothetical scenario, but also suggests that the way to fix this social ill is by having an easy-on-the-eyes police officer like Du parachuting into as-armed and angry people. How they feel. Sarcastic? Yes. But the irony underlines Trigger's core thesis: in a disconnected world, empathy may be the most radical weapon of all. A global mirror. While the show is fictional, its relevance is painfully real. South Korea's own societal pressures, including youth unemployment, mental health crises, and political polarization, are mirrored in Trigger's explosive narrative. But this is not just Korea's story. As the series climbs Netflix charts across continents, it's clear that Trigger has tapped into something universal. In the end, Trigger is not just about who pulls the trigger, it's about why they feel they must. And in asking that question, it doesn't just entertain. It forces us all to stop, listen, and wonder what kind of world we're really living in.